Hello everybody, Mannix here. We're going to be doing a very special 3-for-1 knife review. This is going to be on the old model Cold Steel Voyagers in the XL size. I have all three blade shapes. Here we have the Tonto, we have the Vaquero, and then of course we have the clip point. Big ol' mamma jammas, XL size again. They all are 11 inches long. They all have 6-inch handles and 5-inch blades. They all weigh a roughly 5 ounces. Let's go weigh them right now just for clarity. It's hard to find specs on old discontinued knives, but I just weighed them myself with my little scale right here. So let's get right into that. So on 0, 5.41 inches. On the Tonto, on the Vaquero, we have 4.95 inches, a little lighter, 0.6 ounces lighter just about. And our clip point friend, we have 5.2 ounces. So in order from heft, lightest to heaviest, it goes from left to right like this right here. Very similar, you know, high 4s, mid 5s, over here it's 5 ounces. So for 11-inch knives, that's really light actually. Most 11-inch knives, you're going to be hitting 8, 9, 10 ounces. On the new model Voyagers, they are a little bit heavier. They're not really heavy. They're moderately heavier. I think they're like 7 ounces or something like that. But again, for big old knives, that's not a huge deal. But do I care for weight? Absolutely not. I do not give a crap. I've carried knives that were like 13 ounces in my pocket, and I did not care one bit. It didn't obstruct my day or anything. But a lot of people are really into that. They don't want it to be above 3.5 ounces, and they think every ounce counts, whatever. Yeah, if you think that, cool. If you want an XL knife that's lightweight, you're not going to find anything much lighter than these for this size. That was a huge milestone Cold Steel basically hit. And it's funny how no one else in the knife world, in the knife industry, did that. It's funny, like, oh man, these guys hit such a milestone. That's so amazing. It's literally just an FRN handle with a blade. There's no steel liners in there. It's a lockback. I've never even seen pictures or heard of stories of these breaking. FRN is extremely strong. It's glass and plastic mixed together. Try breaking that. Even if you threw this on the ground, if you threw this on concrete for some reason, disregarding the blade, disregarding tip snapping or anything like that, just the handle, this will not break on you. You might nick it, might get some damaging, but it's not going to snap. I don't know what you would be doing with a folding knife that would concern you as to the handle breaking, but regardless, extremely strong, lightweight, proven material. Very, very nice. And these knives are very, very balanced for such huge knives. The handles are all 6 inches, blades are all 5 inches, so 11 inches on the nose for all of these. Look at the reach you have. Tonto's my favorite. Tonto's are pretty much my favorite. A lot of reach. They're all lockbacks, again. Tip up, right hand carry only. They do not have a spot swivel for any other side. They are riveted. There are no screws in here. You cannot take these apart. Let's get some close-ups on that. Really nice, crisp cutting. They have kind of an attempt at jimping right here. If you're into jimping, it's not that great, whatever. Who cares? Cold Steel still does that. They still don't tend to cut out the lines accommodating to the handle lines in the lock bar. I don't know why. Maybe it's just that much more expensive. I know the lock bar is obviously tempered. That's probably why, but who cares? These two have cone thumb studs, which I think kind of suck, but that's okay. They got it a little more right on the Vaquero model right here. It's a little more rounded on the top, but it still works pretty well. On their new models, they got the thumb studs excellent. They're just like cylinders, and they work very well. Knife companies, please do that. In fact, I have a large old model Voyager right here. That's a good thumb stud right there. It tapers on the top a little bit. It's not rounded like this one. This is a little too, actually sometimes I try to open it with slip because it's so rounded. Not a huge deal, but that's a thumb stud right there. That's how you do it. It's funny because on other, more Voyagers right here. On the other large ones, there's a cone again. I don't know. Maybe they started with the cones, then later people were like, we don't like those, and they changed them subtly. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Who cares? Who knows the differences between when these were made? I bought these all used from all over the internet because I really like these knives. They're really cool, really lightweight, really huge. Very simple designs on all of these. Give the clip point a go here. This has a little bit more of a rounded, tapered handle versus the Tonto, as you can see right there. They're both comfortable. I think I prefer the Tonto. It's a little bit more to hold on to. And then we have an extreme and even more curvy and tapered handle on the Vaquero, a little bit of a different pattern right there. Same kind of diamond pattern, although it's not as grippy as the clip point and the Tonto right there. Feels kind of rubberized. It's not, it just kind of feels like it. And then we have a slightly different design on like the bolster section right there. Vaquero is also a little wider, a little bit more round, a little bit more to hold on to. So these all have VG1 satin finished blade steels. Instead of the AUS 8s that the new Voyagers originally used, later they changed it to the CTS BD1 Carpenter steel, and as of October 2018, as I'm filming this, I think they changed it again to AUS 10. I haven't heard much about that, I don't know much about it. But VG1 is quite different. A lot of you are probably familiar with VG10. VG10 is used on the Spyderco Endura, and a lot of Spydercos use that. It's a harder blade steel. It has very, very excellent rust resistance. I've heard stories. I think with Nothing Fancy, he had a video where there was a Spyderco Endura he accidentally left outside, or a Delica or something, in the snow on a camping trip, and overnight. And then he took it out. There's absolutely no rust or anything on it. It was perfectly fine. So, yeah, very good rust resistance steel. Very hard, retains an edge for a decent amount of time. It gets very sharp. All around a very good steel. That's not terribly expensive. It's higher. It's up there. It's a little more pricey, but it's not that bad. There's some other steels that just get insane. The prices go through the roof once you put them on there. But VG10's a Japanese-produced steel, and these all have VG1. Here, I think one of them actually says it somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Voyager VG1 stainless. I didn't look up the differences, but all I do know it's just like a lower end VG10. It's in that family though, very similar, but still, these knives, they were not that expensive when they came out, and if you want to buy these, you're basically only going to find them used. It's very rare you find new in the box ones, but used for the XLs, you're looking at about $100 if they're in okay shape. Like this one, it's got some scratches on it. The Tonto, this was new in box. I think I got this for like 100 or something. I scored it on a bid. And then this one was mint condition, not quite new, but very close. I've actually used these, actually tested these a little bit in everyday life, and they are such sweet knives. I love their simplicity. If you compare these directly to the new Voyagers, they're lighter weight, obviously. They're a lot more simple. They're a little more slimmer. Again, more medium to medium lighter duty versus like the super ultra heavyweight duty that the new ones are. And I love the new Voyagers. They're awesome too. But I like these a little more, maybe not so much for function, but just because there's something cool about it, because they're older, they're harder to find. A lot of people, oh, what is that? Oh, it's an old model Voyager. What? Like, it's hard to get them, a little bit more expensive. They're becoming collectible. They're becoming very, very, very collectible items. They're not crazy collectible, but they're getting up there, and in years these are only going to get more expensive. These are only going to get more rare. More will get destroyed, more will get lost. So they're only going up in price. But right now, October 2018, if you look on eBay or you look on like knife forums and stuff, you can find them for about $100 for the XLs. For the larges, you're looking at close to 80-ish. But who knows? They could be more, they could be less. I don't know. But just very sick knives. Very awesome. You have so much reach on these XLs right here, and I like how the blades, how the handles rather, they all kind of match up with the blades. They're not all exactly the same. Like for instance, on these two, the large Voyagers, the Tonto and the clip point, same handle, kind of mimics the Tonto right here in the XL. But then you have the large Vaquero has like a curvier handle. That's really cool because it is supposed to matches, pocketing of the shape of the blade right there. I like how they did it. They gave each handle a slightly different look because it matches up with, the blade, as you can see right there. So with the clip point, we have more of like a cutout here because we have more of a belly on it, and our blade, which does not have a belly, the Tonto. Oh, look at that. So just really, really cool. See, I slipped. I hate those thumb studs. Not a huge deal, but you can choke up on them, obviously. Very obvious stuff. The Vaquero is the only one that has like some sort of milling on the blade itself. Doesn't work very well. Who really cares? These only come in serrated. You cannot find these in plain edge unless you found like a special edition one or something. The larges, I think they also came in combo edges, and they also come, I know for a fact they come in fully serrated, but I like the plain edges. Again, if you find them in plain edge, they're going to be at the prices I told you. If you find serrated ones, you can find them for a considerable discount because nobody likes serrations. I'm sorry if that was mean. It's funny, I forget, I think it was SOG, it was a representative from SOG a few years back that said these serrated knives that they have sell better. And it's funny because when you go on the knife forums and when you go on YouTube, or whatever it is, people are trying to buy knives, you always see, please, no serrations, no serrations, no serrations, no, I don't want any serrations, no serrations. And yet the serrated knives are selling better. Well, why is that? I think it's just because it's just a marketing thing. A lot of people who are not really interested in knives very much, they don't know much about knives, and yet they see a knife, they see the plain edge, and they see the combo edge. Ooh, the combo, it's got a saw on it, and it's got the plain edge. That's better. Better for survival. But then when they get it, they realize they don't like them because they're so difficult to resharpen and they snag on things. This pattern I do not particularly like at all. Actually, I hate that pattern. But for this style knife, I think it's okay, and I'll get into it in just a minute. But they get the knife and they realize they don't want the serrations, and then they try to sell them, and because there's so much supply but so little demand of the combo edges and these serrated knives after they are bought. There's a lot of demand when they buy them new, but afterward they try to get rid of them. That's when all the knife people who are buying used knives, they don't want them. So yeah, basically I'm saying if you try to find these plain edge ones, you expect to pay a lot more for them. But I like the serrations on this one right here because for this style of blade, this is a, they call it the Vaquero style blade. It's basically a kukri. It's basically a, yeah, the kukri. The only difference is there's a cutout right here instead of the blade being completely solid right here. They cut this part out so confused. You're like, what the heck is going on here? But if you were just to look at just the edge right there, it's a kukri. Kukri. And it's just a little bit better at piercing, I guess, from that cutout. A little less strong, I suppose, but you also lose some weight with it. You gain some penetration. Not that this is a good piercer. It's kind of awkward, but whatever. It's a very good hacking and slashing style because of that recurve. It accelerates the chopping and slashing motions. Now the serrations are good for this because when you're doing chopping and slashes, you're not really going to be doing precision cutting with a kukri style blade, generally speaking. You're not going to be doing much utility. This is for chopping through foliage or hacking at an attacker of some kind or whatever. That's the idea. So serrations, oftentimes when you're talking defense, oftentimes they're very good. They rip and they snag on things. It makes much more nasty wounds. So not to get into that too much, but if you're into the whole defense thing, that is not a bad option right there. All of these would be great options for defense, and that brings me to my next point. What are people using knives like this for? Is this kind of a general incoherent ramble I'm rambling off into right now? Who is using, what are people using XL, like these huge style folders for? I mean, this is about the size that you'd see like survival fixed blades and stuff. Longer handles, obviously, but you still have that reach there. What is the purpose of these? Well, I find these actually useful in everyday life. You'd be surprised. So there's this place where I go fishing. I love to go fishing. Not a huge fisherman, but I like to fish. I might make fishing videos later one day. Who knows? Anyway, and this acts literally like a pocket kukri. I actually use this. I have a Raja 2, awesome, sick blade, huge, legit. That's a legit pocket kukri. That is a heavy, big old knife that Cold Steel makes now. But it's very heavy, very, very heavy. And again, I don't normally care too much for weight, but again, this is almost a third. This is about a third of the size. Just about. It's insanely light. Sorry. This is about a third of the weight compared to the Raja 2, and you get almost the same length. The Raja 2 is a little longer. I didn't bring it downstairs. Too lazy to get it. Sorry. This is just about the same performance. It's so light when you're hacking just through foliage. This brings me to my point. I was talking about fishing. There's a spot I had to go to try to catch some pike at the beaver dam in the lake, and it's a very secluded area, and I didn't go there in a while, and it got completely overgrown over the summer. It was like, oh crap, you have to like walk through the foliage, you gotta walk through the marsh and stuff, and I kept pulling this out, like hacking. If it was way too overgrown, I didn't just hack at all the plants or anything, but when it was really overgrown, just kind of trimmed them a little bit, put it back in the pocket. Oh, here's more. Take it back out. The serrations actually, you actually kind of want them to snag onto plants and stuff. It helps for cutting them, I noticed, for the cut and pull back kind of motion. And then because it's so lightweight and it fits back in my pocket, boom, goes right back into the pocket, just clipped in there. And then if some wacko jumped out and tried to jump me, I got something to attack him with. Not that I was actually thinking about that, but still, in theory, that could have happened, technically speaking. So, and some people say, well, just carry a kukri. Why carry that? Oh, because this fits in my pocket. A kukri does not. A kukri goes on a giant sheath, and people look at you like you are an insane person if you do that. And plus, they're a lot more cumbersome. They wobble around, and they make a lot of noise. They're heavy. You notice them. They pull your pants down. It's just, having something. There's actually an actual use behind these giant folding knives for stuff like that. Sure, these are a little less useful than the large size Voyagers. I mean, these are still huge blades, 4 inches. That's actually a lot of knife right there. But still, they do serve their purposes. That's why you don't see as many extra large knives out there, because they have less uses than the smaller knives do. However, one thing you can consider is better to have too much edge than not enough edge. Chew on that for a second. But yeah, basically, really cool knives, getting harder to find. Some of the lightest weight, most successfully created extra large folding knives ever made, I think, are these Voyagers right here. Blade still complements the locking. I mean, again, we don't have liners in here, aluminum liners like the new Voyagers have. We just have the Zyx. But again, extremely strong material anyway, who cares? We only have a lockback, which is a strong locking mechanism. It is not the strongest locking mechanism in the world. But it will get the job done, and because of this VG1 stainless steel, that's actually a perfect option of blade steel Cold Steel went with when they made these, because it has that edge retention. And when you have a blade that has edge retention, it is a little bit more hard, it's a little more brittle than a softer knife. Softer knives do not keep an edge as long as a harder blade would. But the thing is, the edge will kind of roll over instead of straight up chipping when you hack at something too hard for it. So these edges, the thing is, they won't last as long as like the AUS 8 or AUS 10 or whatever it is. What I mean by last as long as, like, if you were to hack at something or hack at something extremely hard, for whatever reason you would be doing that with a folding knife, I don't know. But if you had to, these will, the VG1 stainless will tend to chip a little more, and the AUS 10 or whatever it is will tend to kind of roll over. When you resharpen that, you can flatten them back out into place. When a blade still is chipped, when an edge is chipped, you are never going to get that piece of metal back on there ever in 1,000 years, until you keep resharpening, and then the rest of the edge matches up and grinds down to the portion that the chipped edge is at. But what I'm saying is, this was a great option because these are lighter duty knives. You have a less strong, we don't have a triad lock, we just have a lock back right here, and we don't have aluminum liners. And they're a little bit more slimmer, so they're meant for lighter, I'm not saying light duty, but lighter duty work than the new Voyagers are. So if they stuck the AUS 8 or AUS 10 on here, it would be considered a straight up, pretty much a downgrade. But because it's lighter use, why not get a blade steel that accommodates or complements the handle? Now, on the new Voyagers, it probably wouldn't be as good if they had the VG1. It was very slightly, very minute. I don't really care that much for blade steels, but a lot of people are really into their blade steels. They love their, I have my S30V, it's so awesome. I can cut so much paper in my room with it for fun. It's amazing. Hey, that's awesome. If you have that kind of interest in your blade steel, then good job for you. I don't really care that much. I prefer cheaper steels because I don't use my knives that much. Occasionally I open a package, or I use them for work, or maybe breaking a cardboard box down or something. But how often are we really using our knives? Most of us watching this video right now, probably not a whole lot. It's mostly just a hobby for you. So that's why I don't really care for blade steels that much. But this VG1, I think it's better than the AUS 8. I haven't tried AUS 10 before, but I do think this is better. However, for the new model Voyagers, they're a lot beefier, thicker, they're heavier, stronger. Maybe it's a better option that they went with the AUS 8. I don't know. Now, these all have half stops. Hear that clicking? That is a half stop. What's a half stop? They have a little cutout in the tang of the blade right here, not the cutout that the notch of the lockback fits into to lock it, but a cutout just something for it to rock on. And what that does is it just gives you kind of time to adjust your hand, adjust position, whatever, instead of the blade accidentally closing on you. See, like that? The notch kind of saves you. For the weight, that would have probably dropped down and cut myself a little bit if I did that. But the half stop just saved my fingers right there. So that's exactly what it does. Every single old model Voyager has these, the new ones do not. I'm going to wrap up the video. I'm getting kind of long-winded here. I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I wanted to get a video of the whole family together here. Come on everybody. Check that out. Only one I'm missing is the medium Tonto, which I have upstairs, but again, too lazy to get it down. So anyway, but this video is not about the larges, it is about the XLs. So thank you for watching, everybody. Much appreciated. If you like what you saw, if you want more knife reviews, you want flashlight reviews, lighter reviews, you want ballast song tutorials, maybe even like camping or fishing style videos later, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that bell so you do not miss any videos if you do not want to miss any. And I am going to be uploading videos every single week, once a week, every single Wednesday at the least. At the least. I may have other videos spread out here and there, but every single Wednesday I will be uploading videos. So take care.